झनक झनक झन झंकारितः
अखिल जगति भुलवी आहा
रसिक मनांच्या तारा गीत कहाण्या हित गुजेही
सांगे अभिनव धारा
ही प्रसारण इंटरनेट रेडिओ ही प्रसारण इंटरनेट रेडिओ.
Hello everyone. Let us meet the German language professional Uma Apte today. She is the founder director of the German Language Training Institute, Deutsch Activ, which is based in Pune, India, and expanding all over Maharashtra with its collaborations with various educational institutions. She is a teacher at heart, but she went on to add feathers to her hat by organizing study tours to Europe, cultural activities, and she also designed a teacher's training program for her own academy. She also is a trained psychological counselor and she enjoys singing a lot. Deutsch Activ completed 30 years on 15th February 2022. Hello Uma, welcome to the show.
Hello everyone.
Congratulations on completing 30 years in this field.
Yeah, thank you so much.
How does it feel, Uma?
It's a good feel, good going feel, and we are looking forward to many more years. So
Definitely.
Yeah, so it is like motivating actually. So till now we have done a number of things and so many things are lined up ahead also. So that's motivating. 30 seems only number, so to say. But it's always on and it should be like the name suggests, it should be always active. So that's how Deutsch Activ. Yeah.
You are right. Even your name is different because it is active. So you have removed the E, but kept the C.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
To resemble German, to the German name.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
You are saying something?
No.
Okay. Okay, so Uma, I would like to understand your journey. So I would be asking you some questions.
Definitely.
So I would like to start by asking you, you pursued masters in German,
right,
and you went on to do B.Ed also.
Right.
So both the things, like how did you decide to take up German back then?
So actually, basically, I was always interested in languages. In school, Marathi and English were my favorite subjects. And then that Sanskrit also. Sanskrit I have learned for scoring and as well as to recite Atharva Shirsha, Ram Raksha, which is definitely a base of all languages. I always have felt reciting them, it's really a joy. And then I came to know somehow that yes, German is a bit related to Indian languages.
Okay.
A little information. And then in 11th, when I went to 11th, I got a chance in Ferguson College to really opt for German. I was so thrilled to get to know one more language. And that's how I chose German. And then side by side, I was doing also my Max Muller Bhavan courses.
Okay.
And there, what I liked the most is the communicative and interactive pattern of teaching the language. And there itself, I decided, yes, I would do something in this language. The culture of the language also attracted me a lot. The discipline of the language, the application platforms which were getting opened up. That I like the most, and that's how I decided. So I first obviously went for BA German in Ferguson, and then obviously afterwards MA German. So, Masters. So then touching all possible areas of language was possible because of MA. Literature, translation, didactic, which is my core, which was my core subject, because from beginning itself, I had decided to become a teacher. So, so earlier I wanted to become a English professor, but when 11th standard I chose for German, and I did my MMB courses. Then that changed, na? So
Okay.
then I
Right.
decided, no, now yes, I am attracted towards this culture, towards
Mhm.
this methodology, which was quite a different than the typical one which was used in schools and colleges, and that's how
So,
I
yeah.
was quite
Uma,
thrilled.
yeah, I would like to interrupt you here.
Yeah.
So, can you explain to us what difference did you notice in the teaching methodologies?
Right. Basically, the teaching methodologies were interactive in a sense. Without reaction, we never went ahead. While learning English and Marathi at school or college level, it was more of reading and writing only. So we got a chance for application during the exams only, which was written. And here at MMB or even at BA level, it was like for every single text, you had to express your interpretation of the text. Or even if may it be grammar, may it be literature, literary text, you had to express. And that's what I found very interesting, that every single text gets handled in very analytical pattern. And not only written exam, but oral exam. So where you get complete chance to express whatever you have understood. So that was most thrilling, and that I liked. And then I thought, like, English would have been taught to me like this, then असं थोडंसं झालं, like, yeah. So that was very different. Listening, writing, speaking, speaking basically. Like in my school days, I hardly remember that I got a chance to speak in English. I was thrilled with English language and literature. I started reading a lot, but hardly I got a scope to speak out the language, to really talk with natives. All those chances I could get at MMB. So then I understood the different technique of getting into the language.
That's very important.
Right.
So your goal remained the same, but the language changed.
The language changed. Yeah. The language changed. Right.
Yes. And so you wanted to become a teacher. So you decided to do B.Ed?
Right. Because teaching in my home, I had a great inheritance of all the teachers. My father was a professor of education. My own uncle, elderly uncle, he was professor of history. Then my another uncle, he has taught in school mathematics. And my cousin sister, ours was a joint family. My cousin sister was a professor of economics. So it was like all teachers. And then I had seen all that. And that's how in 9th standard itself, I had decided to become a teacher.
Oh, great.
Right.
Great. So my next question was that you had a choice of entering into the corporate, but I think since the choice was very clear, you never must have thought about it.
Right. Yeah. Like, because I started actually when I was doing my graduation in 92, I started teaching so that you remain with the base of the language. You are learning at one side, you are learning literature, another area of language you explore. But it should not mean that you should forget the base. And for that, to remain in touch with the base of the language, I started really teaching. And then I started with certain batches where I was teaching school students. So that application, which was constantly in my mind, was completely on from base to larger extent, means to literature. So that communicative pattern, I didn't wish to miss at all. And that's why in 92 itself, while doing my graduation, I started with this. And that time I was not even a graduate. So that time the corporate thought never came to my mind. I was enjoying. I had almost early morning batches 6:30, and I used to have like 25 students per batch. All school children, mostly that time only English medium schools had German.
Okay.
Especially I had Loyola students and Abhinav as well. So that was quite interesting. So talking constantly to students, understanding their perspectives, making them enjoy the language, the manner I had. So that's how, that time I never thought of like corporate.
Entering the corporate.
Right. Yeah.
Great.
Teaching
Because
was decided.
yes,
Yeah.
that's a great learning actually.
Right.
That decide early, so it is always better.
Absolutely. So it clears your path so well, and then nothing disturbs you there, because constantly you remain in active mode. Teaching, so and then you require to constantly update yourself.
Okay.
According to whatever is going on, the techniques, new techniques, exactly different patterns of exams. So accordingly, you have to also create not only beyond the textbook, you had to constantly create some material which could help the students to really go deeper to the language, and so that the concepts become very clear. So that is really thrilling part in teaching.
Okay.
That teacher basically remains always a student.
Oh, yes. Totally agree.
Right. You constantly learn a lot from students because their reactions are like of variety. And then you understand, no, for this student, I have to teach in this pattern, and this will require this kind of explanation. So updating is students. I love to teach variety of students.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Deutsch Active has conducted translation courses as well. Am I right?
Yeah. You were definitely part of it, so you know very well.
Certainly.
Right.
Yes. So tell us more about it. Like, how was it different from your normal teaching, from the normal academics that you have handled and the translation course?
Right. Obviously, teaching, as I rightly mentioned, the students' interests you have to really study. So some of the students showed great interest in becoming or actually touching this translation field. So what kind of translation I had done till then was for my MA syllabus. And at MA, you have to do one translation project. But I was very keen into understanding the, how could I say, the technique of translation. That is applied theory, I would say, because for translation, I don't feel there could be any theory, so to say. Like theoretical translation is definitely not a theoretical subject. It is an applied subject, and that's how I do definitely remember I contacted you, and then now because you being the translator, and then I asked you to really brief my students about the translation course, where I also got the knowledge how translation really gets done, or how people look at translation. And that is how, because of students' interest, I really started with this course. And then, that was a great success, where I obviously invited the experts. So you were obviously one of them. And then Uddhav Godbole had conducted basic level translation as well as advanced level translation. So being in the translation field, I wanted to have those experts who could give the right knowledge to the students. And then, yes, the students also started with translation. They also got some internships with help of these courses.
Yes. So that is what I like about your academy, or you, that you invite the experts and you give your students the best.
Correct.
Great. You have had a variety of students in your academy.
Right.
So you were sharing some experiences about handling them. Like some are tough, some are not so tough, some are already, they nowadays they come with prior knowledge of German. So can you share with us some experiences?
Yes, why not? Definitely. Now, looking at, I will probably divide it in 3 decades, like we can go to 2000 or before that, like 92 I said. Now the first decade was like it was introduced in school and junior colleges. And there it was more of exam oriented and more of objective. And there was, as I mentioned earlier, it was their only written exam. No orals were conducted. Earlier, in 92, it was 100 marks German in schools. And then after 5 years, I suppose, it started with 50 marks German. So the approach also changed. 50 marks German and Hindi. It was a combination in English medium schools. So 100 marks German, it was all focus on objective understanding of the language. Grammar topics like do as directed we used to have in English papers. So it was more objective and scoring subject. So that time the approach was making the base so clear and give them pattern practice like anything for whichever grammar topics, may it be pronouns, may it be some relative sentences, conjunctions, this, that, tenses in German, and construction. So they required to be structure strong in German. I always said, told to my students, you need to be structure strong. One alphabet here, there, and the meaning could change. So there, the focus was making students more structure strong, and they were otherwise, I'm talking about 92 when I started, they were not otherwise so to say exposed to this language in a manner today the students are. That time internet was also not there. No click, one click and you can explore the whole world German, called German. It was not like that. Whatever experiences I had in MMB that time, I tried to share maximum of them because I had always a membership, their library membership. And we used to get at that time cassettes. From the library. CDs were also not there in 92. So we used to get cassettes. So that I used to always get from library, MMB, and while teaching these students, I used to play those cassettes. That was something very different, so that they could listen to German. So, and then I conducted, kind of cultural day once a year, so that students get a chance also to perform. So I used to write small skits or some songs which I had learned at NNB. So that time the approach was very, so to say, at ease and more focused on written language. And as I said, construction strong, you require to be. No grammar mistakes, so that you can score 100 on 100. And the students never had really otherwise exposure to that language. But yes, I do remember 2 of my students in MMB, we used to get one magazine, Jugend magazine म्हणून होतं. And through that, we used to get a pen friend. So तिथे काही some addresses used to be there. And then chat through letter. So pen friend means actually you had to pen down. Now, so 2 of my students, they were interested. We can talk to ma'am. Can we write to them? So I said yes. And so I wanted to have something different, but whichever scope was that time, I completely utilized it. So through magazines, newspapers, cassettes, and obviously the set syllabus, which you had to do. That doing it 10 years, the same. Obviously, every single year, some or other activities get added through this experience, obviously. Some skits you have performed, then you can go for songs. Then elocution competition. And students, like 11th, 12th, they were so excited. Ma'am, at a stretch, can we speak 2 minutes in German? So I said, okay, you can choose the topics, never mind, we can prepare. Like in school, we used to have it for Marathi elocution, English elocution. I always participated in my school. So I said, okay, let us do it here also for German. So simple subjects, meine Familie, for 11th, 12th, mein Freund, oder Klassenausflug nach Lonavala. That was very typical and most liked by students. And then 2 minutes stopwatch लावून बघायचं, 2 minutes आपल्याला at a straight German बोलतात. So more of, I always kept it communicative pattern, not only grammar, because once you know the grammar, you get that confidence that yes, you can communicate, but you hardly get a chance. Means that time definitely, especially for school and college children, because they were not exposed to this pattern of learning and teaching that language. But then after those 10 years, then CDs got, cassettes got transformed to CDs. मॅक्स मुलरच्या लायब्ररीत पण कॅसेट्सच्या सीडीज झाल्या अँड त्याचं ना आणि थोडं कॉम्प्युटर यायला लागला अँड देन दॅट टाइम दोज मेनी today we have so many sites and then we can click and learn any particular topic even if we want.
Yes. Right.
But when I did my MMB, there was no, so to say, prescribed books. There used to be reference books.
Okay.
And every single day we used to have 10, 15 worksheets and some texts and this and that. So, but then it also got organized. So then we got some prescribed books at MMB. So along with my regular school prescribed books, I also started taking some content from these books as an add-on. Little, because this content was more interactive than the school content. So that combination I always did. So which was very, very beneficial and very much liked by the students. So my motto, or with the motto that Spaß an dem Studium, मुलांना धमाल करत शिकता यायला पाहिजे, स्ट्रेस फ्री. आपल्याला किती मार्क मिळतील, हाऊ मेनी मार्क्स आय एम गोइंग टू गेट, हे कधी डोक्यातच नाही यायला पाहिजे. मार्क्स कम इफ आय बी रेग्युलर इन द ऍप्लिकेशन. So that's any made be 11th, 12th, and then one fine day, one student, I was taking my 12th standard batch, and eka student चा मोठा भाऊ आला, who was doing engineering in second year, and he came in and he told, ma'am, can you teach me international exam German? I said, my focus is 11th, 12th, but why do you want to give the exam? He said, no, I want to apply in German university. Then I said, yes, why not? Now, as I always say, students demand, you have to update yourself. So then I said, why not? And then the rest of 12th standard students, I also asked, would you like to also learn with him?
Okay.
So they were immediately, they were ready. And then I started, so because he was the only one, and I said that if you want to learn that pattern, you require partners. And here are the partners. Let me ask them whether they are ready. And then it started. So that I suppose I started in 2003.
Okay. With the new pattern.
With the new pattern. And then I focused on the MMB syllabus, MMB pattern of exam, which was very, very communicative. The students were quite thrilled to go through this pattern. And then we realized together, students as well as me as a teacher, that yes, they, instead of spending the whole year to learn and apply 12th standard syllabus, we could cover it in 3 months, but intensively. Every single day, 2 hours lecture.
Oh, okay.
And then they came up like, ma'am, now we don't have to study this 12th standard syllabus. We can easily solve that paper, because it was once again objective. And that really helped me to understand, yes, this communicative pattern, even I can apply on the 11th and 12th standard students. Why not?
Why not? Yes.
Teaching them core subject, making them prepared for their exam in their manner, but add-on and easier manner is this communicative. And it should not be the case like I have learned 2 years German, but I can't speak 5 sentences even. That's completely changed. That's great. नुसतेच मुलं म्हणतात आम्ही 11वी-12वी आमचं जर्मन केलंय, आम्ही डायरेक्ट B1 करू का? तर नाही होत, कारण स्पोकन जर्मन they never get a chance. It's not the thing that they can't do it, but they are not exposed to this type of learning of language also.
Right.
So that changed. आणि आजची गोष्ट म्हणजे मागच्या 10 वर्षाची जर म्हटलीस तर तिथे I have variety of students, in a sense, let's say commerce background students, engineering students, pharmacy students, homeopathy students, architecture students, LLB, सगळ्यांनाच जर्मन शिकायचं. तर if you want to teach them all, you need to at least have a bit of know-how about their core career.
Okay.
So there I started a bit counseling with them. In a sense, I started talking, while taking the admission, I started talking with the students about their wishes, why they wish to learn German.
Okay.
And the manner they wish to learn that, and the career they are doing. So you also get a correct idea that exactly what do they wish. Accordingly, we can really train them. Now, so
you
that
try to customize the plans for them.
Perfect. Right. So you want to go for it. You want to study ahead. May their courses be in German universities in English medium or German. But I always told them, try your level best to go for German taught courses. So there could be more chances for your jobs, your internships, everything over there. So do your German here the best way you can, because they have 2 years in their hand. And in 2 years, they can definitely complete A1 to C1. Even if in between, due to their exams or whatever assignments, they could take 1 month gap or something. But still in 2 years time, they can definitely complete the complete knowledge of German, applied pattern.
Yes.
Which helps them definitely. So many of my students got admissions, and then in German university, German taught, TU is what we call in Germany. So, and then they are really so happy, and they are settled in their careers now. So according to that, counseling helps a lot for the teacher, and that's why at Deutsch Activ we call ourselves as Lernbegleiter or Lernbegleiter.
Okay.
So we call ourselves not teachers. We call them ourselves as learning companions, because we have to learn.
That's a nice phrase.
Right. So none of our team members are teachers. They are Lernbegleiter.
Oh.
So because we get to learn. This generation, they know so much more than us. Only we have to, guide them to choose correct path and have the first-hand information. Now, there are 2 types of information. One is like too much of information, which confuses them. Another is keen information, which they require to study, which they require to really go deep into. So which information could be confusing, and which information is really keen and appropriate for their career line they have chosen. It means we need to play our part. So that's what this insight I got because I counseled the students, because I got to know their understanding of their own career development, and then only you can, as an expert, you can help them out.
That is wonderful. So I can see Deutsch Activ and Uma Apte, a combination of a teacher or Lernbegleiter, as you're saying it, and a student counselor. So all going passionately into, making a career of that student. That's really great. Because ultimately he or she has to learn in Germany properly.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah. And not only in Germany, like in Pune itself, there are so many German companies. Like if you really have to take a count, I suppose it has crossed definitely number 250. So there are German companies. आता Volkswagen मध्येच माझे 4 स्टुडंट्स काम करतात.
Okay.
In Pune itself. So not necessarily every student will go in Germany and explore that. But आता पुण्यामध्ये every second student learns German. एवढं German students community वाढलेली आहे.
Right.
So there is definitely competition, but then you have to really excel into your self competency. मग तुम्ही ती compete with yourself. I always tell them, don't see here, there, what he is doing, what she is doing should not matter. What am I doing and why I am doing matters.
Yes.
So, that's how they go ahead. So in Pune also they have a chance. Within India also, in Bangalore there are wonderful companies. In Pune, Mumbai, everywhere they have the school.
Okay. So I think the student's skill set as an engineer or architect, lawyer, or whatever he might be doing, or it could be BCom or BA also. Correct. So that combined with the knowledge of German is gaining importance, right? Correct. So like you were saying, Uma, we have seen the mindset of students is changing. Like we see students, learning from YouTube or Duolingo. And coming to academies and saying that they want to apply for B2 or B1 directly, like the intermediate level courses. Right. So what is your thought about that?
Yeah. First of all, I congratulate them. That, okay, you have started exploring it for sure, but we need to cross-check your knowledge. And for that, I have created some entrance exams, which give them a real check. That I have learned it through an XYZ website, or I have learned it in school or college. But in terms of application, how much you have done is to be checked. So it is like cross-checking your knowledge. It's not like exam. And then obviously once they give that exam, like for every single student, there is an exam. So I have designed like around 10 to 15 exams for different levels. Like if I wish to enter directly for A2, I don't want to do A1. Some students come like, because they must have done it somewhere online or through Duolingo or something. And I want to do A2 or B1 directly. They tell me that, yeah, they have spent this much time, money. But then I say that, okay, let us cross-check. And then I will suggest you the right level. May it be A2, may it be B1. So this helps. Otherwise, for teachers or the rest of the students who have come in without any prior knowledge, it should not become difficult for them to really manage. So halfway knowledge won't help. If you have knowledge, you should have thorough knowledge. And that's how you just cross-check your knowledge. We don't call it an exam, but let's say cross-check your knowledge. And then after they get admission in appropriate level. So that is a must. Directly one can't apply for B1 at our institute. With entrance exam, yes.
Yes, that is good.
Because otherwise they feel like they know a lot, but when it comes to application, then they get the real check, how much they know. I definitely appreciate their effort, but the effort has to have correct way. Otherwise what we say, donkey work खूप जण करतात, like so many things, because the exposure, as I mentioned earlier also, two types of exposure. One is confusing and one is keen exposure. So my thought is always they should get to keen exposure. So they should go in a right direction of their choice, but they have to choose.
Uma, with this international examinations, they are focusing on a set pattern of language teaching or language learning. So do you think students are getting exposed to the, literature of that language? It could be any language. It could be German or English, Spanish, French, any language.
Correct. When they come up to B2 level, then definitely to certain extent they get exposed to. But for the same sake, they should get exposed to literature of the language. For the same sake, we also have formed DACC, that is Deutsch Active Culture Club.
Okay.
So from A1 level itself, their prescribed syllabus, their prescribed pattern of exams, they obviously get training for. But along with that, some add-ons, as I said, we call ourselves Lernbegleiter. So constantly we require to think from students' point of view. So the students, all over development in the language must be handled or tackled. And for that sake, we take some DACC programs, where we expose them to certain literature, like some small texts from certain books. Now we have our reading sessions. So storytelling, reading sessions, what we conduct at DACC from level 1 itself, A1 level itself. Storytelling sessions, story reading. There are small stories, writing competitions, which we focus on. They can write simple. Now, looking at today's scenario, these students are well exposed to blog writing. Now, so this blog writing, they get so wonderful response to that among their friend circle and or otherwise also. Obviously, we tell them that you have to write it in German, whichever manner you can. Before you publish your blog, we will just have one sitting. And then if at all we feel like altering it a little so that it will get the response you wish to have, then we do that. And so DACC conducts these activities twice a month, that is 2 Saturdays.
Oh, that is quite a lot.
Yes. So where it doesn't disturb their regular, because the course learning is Monday to Friday, every day 2 hours. And alternate Saturday, they get this kind of DACC activity so that they get exposed to this German culture as well, or literature. So literature is anything, like we try some recipes also in DACC activity. So that is also, I feel, literature. Literature is not only novels, and A1 students can't directly get exposed to novels and poetry in Germany. But yes, B2 students, they definitely get. They definitely get. So DACC helps them. So,
yes. So it's a combination that you are teaching and DACC, then only it will give them good exposure.
They get root knowledge मिळतं त्यांना, application also, and really they get interest remains the same. नाहीतर A1 A2 झाल्यानंतर आता बास असं नाही होत ना, their mind remains there. त्यांची एक्झाम मुळे ते एखाद्या महिन्याची गॅप घेतात, पण परत B1 ला येतातच असं. कारण काहीतरी वेगळं मिळतं आणि व्हरायटी दे नीड टू गेट. एकच टिपिकल पॅटर्न, मग त्यांचं थिंकिंग पण देअर इट गेट्स ब्लॉक्ड. शुड नॉट गेट ब्लॉक्ड. वेन इट्स लँग्वेज, यू कॅन एक्सप्रेस इट in 10 different patterns. So at least 8 of them should get introduced to them, and then they can choose whichever they like. So it is not compulsory, but all of them participate in that. So that's something I like. And teachers la pan change pahiye na. They constantly keep on teaching the same, and teachers also learn a lot from that.
Yes, that must be so creative process for the teachers also.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah. This question is about you, Uma. You are the recipient of esteemed scholarships for teachers training in Berlin and München.
Right.
So can you tell us more about it? What does it involve?
Wow. So, I mean, you are taking me
Yes.
back to those memories lane, actually. Like, especially I was in Göttingen, and then that was like gross group and didactic was the topic.
Okay.
And then we were exactly 40 teachers, international teachers, and then every single day there were workshops, there were communicative sessions, group discussions, and through that you get a wide range of learning patterns, and which you can apply. Like there I got information how German is taught in Africa, for example. There were some teachers from Africa.
Okay.
How German is taught in Japan, what are their problem areas, how German is. So there used to be group discussions there. We have done together many projects. For example, I can tell you that we were roaming around the city, and school children we have interviewed, and त्यांनी जी उत्तरं दिली, like there we had done certain projects like that which were so communicative. So then there was something we participated, or we got a chance to participate, is like I remember that it was fast food theater.
Okay.
So that was such a thrilling concept. So we were sitting in a cafe, all of us teachers, and there were 4 theater experts. And then we were just discussing, and then they had given us sheet of papers, and we had to write about our German learning and teaching experience in 2-3 lines. So all of us wrote that. They gathered together, and out of that they made a theater.
Oh, okay.
And then theater techniques, and the very second day we got a chance to learn from that theater expert how you can use theater techniques to teach your regular syllabus. So their pronunciation exercises, Aussprache, then the force in which you need to speak out that language, how you have to understand interpersonal things when you talk to something, all those techniques. So these kind of practical knowledge I gathered together really through these scholarships. It was nothing theoretical, and that was the best part of it. Every single day we were doing some or other thing different. And the same thing then I could continue here when I started training the teachers, like on basis of that, obviously.
Yes. So it is more enjoyable then, if
Absolutely.
it is not only theory.
Absolutely. So that scholarship is like getting to know more people, more cultures, deep and right understanding of teaching language, and so many methodologies. It's not 1 or 2. You can't just write them in one book. You would have to write so many books for that. When I felt always like, because every single teacher has her own way or her own method to teach, and that was discussed. That was best part of those scholarships.
Okay, great. So maybe in future we would expect a book from Apte or Deutsch Activ.
Sure.
You never know.
Yes. You never know. I actually have written 2 books for some projects, because there you could not really, obviously with my team, for some school projects. One school project is right now on since last 1.5 years in Nagpur, where exactly 870 students are learning German.
My God. Okay.
For them as a hobby subject, stress-free. And then there they are having gala time every week. Only once they have German lecture, and every week they wait for this lecture, because there we are teaching them only through activities.
Okay.
And for that I have developed one book.
Oh, that is interesting.
Because then the activity should be designed, and they are small children, 6 to 9 standard. So they need to have something in their hand. So for them, I have developed a book.
Okay. So is it available in the market for sale, or
No,
is
it's
it
only for that school?
only for your academy?
Yes, yes. Only for that school. Other
Acha,
school,
okay.
other syllabus.
Others.
Because you need to understand their demand now, what exactly they want, and their age group. That also matters a lot. Now, 3rd to 5th standard, they have complete different syllabus. And this 6th to 9th also, I have done 2 books. So one basic level and one a bit advanced. So
A bit.
there they can express a lot in German. And it's all through games, through activities. So they should not. But yes, 860 students appeared for oral exams.
Oh, your goal is achieved. They are able to converse.
Yes.
Great. It's now I want to ask about your, you're training a new generation of teachers at Deutsch Activ.
Right.
And I think this is a very important thing you're doing because you're working closely with them and you must be guiding them. So I would like to know more about it, because I have not seen a private institute, any training academy giving so much thought to to creating a new generation of teachers.
All right. Yeah. See, this thought came to my mind when as number got increasing, every single student I only can't handle. So I started appointing the teachers for different levels, basic first 3 levels at least. And then I talked to them. The manner I did counseling with the students, I did counseling also with the teachers. So I needed to understand their point of view beforehand. They really join or they get an appointment here. Exactly what, how long they would like to teach, and what exactly, and what do they know about teachers training. So their maximum of them express that there are hardly any chances. We never got a chance. We wanted to do that, but we could not ever get. And then I said, then will you be ready for 4 to 6 months rigorous training first, and then you would get an appointment. They were ready. Yeah. And then from didactic methodic to really observing the lectures, taking notes, some techniques, and then layer probe, as we know, that is their practice lectures. Ashiti process hota na, that when I guided or I trained first 3 teachers, then I understood that they were gaining day by day confidence. They started also developing their own methods. And that's where we discussed out. And then first, I always give them a batch. I always, in sharing, 2 teachers should go for it, so that they get, and once one batch successfully gets done, they can have an individual batch. So this sharing always happens. Like we always say, when students are learning, there should be partners, because it's language. There should be lots of communication into it. And then that's how teachers training. So what I say, that they are ready, but they don't get it, but they definitely get it at Deutsch Activ.
Yes.
And if they are not sincere about it, then I would say that no, then that the teacher needs to be very, very sincere first. And she needs to get trained, and then only she can really go for it. Like it is Spaß an dem Studium, it should be auch Spaß an dem Lehren.
Yes.
Teaching also you need to enjoy. It should not be like one after another, just lessons. And that's why in my team, as I mentioned about DACC, I also have R&D department, research and development.
Okay.
So teacher at Deutsch Activ, they just don't get exposed to teaching, but also to material development, to do a little research. That all is included in teachers training.
Okay.
So they should not be only using ready-made material, which is ready in the market. There are so many books we can really nowadays explore. There is so much of material available on internet. That they could take it as a reference, and what is to be taken as reference and what not, that also gets conducted in teachers training.
Okay.
And that's how they also participate in R&D, that is research and development. So they also develop, like DACC activities is all teachers task who are trained at MAN. So they develop every time some new activities. So they also are thrilled throughout that teachers training, either for 4 months or for 6 months, according to, and then basic eligibility for it is either B2 or BA in German.
Yes.
So they know the feel of the language. Only now the same feel they must be able to convey to the students.
Yes.
For that, they need to undergo this training. So it's a joyous process. It's not like exam oriented. It's a very, very joyous process.
Yes. Now I'm taking you, moving on to the other questions other than your teaching or your academy.
Yes.
You are also the former West Zone head for INDAF.
Right.
So Indo-German Teachers Association, for those who don't know INDAF. So what was your role and your responsibilities?
Yeah, INDAF was started like now 10, 12 years back. And then that time I got a chance to really work with Dr. Talgeri, and they had that in the mind that the Teachers Association need to be there so that this exchange, what I experienced in Göttingen near München, should happen on a regular basis. And that's how I started there, gathering together the teachers, and we conducted n number of seminars, then after some webinars also. All over India, we had to gather together, and there, I suppose, in one go, I had collected that time 70 teachers from only Maharashtra. Because Pune itself has so many teachers, no?
Yes,
German teachers. So that was really wonderful. And then conducting those seminars was there. Lots of exchange happened between the teachers. So with some association, it always helps.
It helps. Yes,
it definitely helps.
Great. So what do you think are the challenges faced by teachers? So like you have seen students all along, you must have seen teachers all along in these 30 years. So what were the challenges and what are the new challenges now?
Yeah. The very first challenge, as I rightly mentioned, is they don't get training. Even though they wish to become teachers, they don't get training. Another thing, the perspective towards this noble profession should change. Like, काहीच नाही जमलं तर टीचर हे चेंज व्हायला पाहिजे बिकॉज नाउ I suppose they are getting also good, well paid whenever they are in colleges and schools, even if they. So earlier it was the case that it was not so well paid profession. Another thing, lots of devotion and readiness to learn. And really go through that teachers training. If they get a chance, then they should really go through it quite sincerely and upgrade themselves. And looking at the students' demand, they are so many, and they must be able to then develop customized courses. Like at Deutsch Activ, I had a group of students, exactly, I would say 2 couples, and one couple had a child. And they had got a job in Germany, but before going to Germany, they had to get some knowledge, spoken German only. They didn't. So then I sat with my team together, and then we developed one course for 1.5 months they had in their hand. And they were ready to come every day every single day for 1.5 hours. And then we did that. But for that, you need to have that thorough knowledge. So which city they must be traveling in, what kind of work they are going to do ahead, which kind of locality they will be staying in. This everything is to be understood. Then you can really develop one course, and then you can deliver that course. So this should happen more and more, what I feel, because which kind of students you will get, you never know nowadays. It's typical second year engineering, third year BCom, and now the scenario is getting changed since last 5 years typically, that people are opting for bachelor courses in Germany. Okay. Instead of doing masters. And this new concept has come in Studien College. Okay. So where they have to do 1 year in Germany and after 12th. And then they can really start with their bachelors in Germany. So this trend is also increasing like anything. So what could be the students' demand? So teachers training, teachers need to be very well aware of that, and then only they can really, teach the best they can.
They should be passionate and update themselves also, like you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Because traditional teaching anyone and everyone could do with good German knowledge. But what are their demands? Because we stand up for students. So what students want, we must be able to give. So that's our motto always. And that is why we always run this counseling, language counseling, we call it. And one-to-one, we take the students in. So all my teachers, during teachers training, they also get trained in counseling. So like what could be the students' questions? What could be we need to know beforehand so that we can study and answer.
Yeah. Great. You have conducted study tours to Europe.
Right.
And not only Germany, I think other countries also.
Yeah.
So please tell us about it.
Right. The very first tour was in 2004. And with the same motto, German culture first-hand experience they need to understand. Living in guest families, getting guest parents, maybe sometimes for 15 days, sometimes for whole 1 month, and moving in the society, in the German society, in the German environment, independent. And that is what is their study tour is. Study tour is not that go there and do the next course. Study tour is that you can do here anywhere in the world. So, right. But study this practical. Like if you want to really go from one place to another, and you wish to really check on the travel, travel options. By your own, you must be able to do that. Staying in a family, in a German family, you must be able to communicate with them, share some responsibilities in the family, because keep your place clean, cook for yourself, happen studies, and then go in the university and attend few lectures. Talk to, there are in German universities, there are always counselors or for Indian students, for Chinese students, from whichever country students come from. So you need to go to them, communicate. So those kind of sessions I always have conducted. I always conduct. So you have to tap, and they come up with so wonderful information. But before that, the students should be ready with their questionnaire. So that's how it works. So study tour is that.
Okay. Great. Deutsch Activ is partnering with a lot of schools and institutions all over Maharashtra, right? So I would like to know more about it, because this is a great initiative and you're introducing German to a lot of people. Like you mentioned in Nagpur, 860 students are taking it up.
Right.
So please tell us about it.
Sure. Like, that is something now, as I said, multiple things you need to do, and you can do when you are a passionate teacher. So, and you have a team, good team. So our team is really working quite hard, and passionately the same direction, because they get training in the same from day one. So this idea came up to my mind when actually some of the educational institutes they approached, because they didn't have this chance, especially I was talking about this school in Nagpur. So they were not getting teacher. They wanted to start there since a lot, but they were not getting the teacher, or they got some of the teachers who had only knowledge of A1 or A2. And then how could they handle these many children? But they wanted to start, and then that came up in my mind. Then I tapped few teachers in Nagpur, and then I asked them. They also wanted the job, but they didn't have that degree and confidence. And that's how it started. I trained those teachers. Side by side, they completed the further courses till C1. And then I said, okay, now I am ready with your own teachers in Nagpur.
Okay.
So that's how it started. Then, as I mentioned, I developed 2 books, one for 3rd to 5th standard and one for 6 to 10, 2 books for 6 to 10 standard. And then we got training, and then I said, okay, then if Nagpur is doing, why Nashik can't do? Why Mumbai can't do? And obviously in Pune, also at moment, 3 schools we are working with, and some colleges are lined up. The schools which they already have German as a language, there we go with some cultural programs. The schools they don't have German at all. There we go with actual German training. And some educational institutes, they are very keen on understanding this international exam patterns, and they want training for the same. So every educational institute's demand or need is different, and accordingly we are working. So that association is making us reach the students and help them to pursue their interest in the language. And help them to build up their careers, because जसं मी म्हणलं की so many students now wish to go for bachelor's itself abroad, or in some European country, or even America. But to foreign language learning, they get exposed to one more culture, one more communication pattern. So then that's how we help them to become global citizens.
Oh yes, the earlier they learn, the better.
The earlier they learn, the better. No,
Absolutely.
And school children also, they do wonderful. They grasp the language, they participate so wholeheartedly in all possible activities we conduct.
Their energy is amazing.
Amazing. But even the college students, if they really get the right pattern, they are also amazing. Definitely. So these associations is reaching out to maximum of the students.
Schools. Okay, that's great. Just a question I want to ask you, that when one learns a foreign language or an Indian other than Marathi, Hindi,
right? Other
so
than
how does
it?
Yes. So how does it change us according to you? Or what is the benefit of it?
I could take my own example.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, because coming from Marathi medium school, being thrilled for English language in the school, because that was giving something different than our regular environment. Then entering into MMB, getting one more another kind of exposure completely, teaching and learning methodologies, and not only that, but that language's culture and that country's culture. And it is when you become aware of more than one or two foreign languages, definitely your personality completely changes. First of all, you have then wide approach looking at anything and everything, I would say. May it be study, may it be general food, may it be communicative patterns, day-to-day communications, deep study of universities. The whole personality, you become so open to the world. And then I always I always have kept telling myself, and I always keep telling my students as well, that opportunities keep on knocking if you create them. You don't have to wait for the opportunity. And this is the opportunity you have to take up, like that you have to take up it as every single day as an opportunity. And hey, this we can easily learn through learning foreign language. It changes your thought process. From traditional to global. It changes. You become more receptive and more applied. And then you don't wait for the opportunity. You create, because then you have plenty of friends all over the world. You have access to their culture. May it be day-to-day culture, attending a concert in Germany in their language. So through this, everything like music, films, there are so many beautiful German films. Now I say, if I wouldn't have learned this language, how could I have seen? I would. And today, everything is available at one click. Sometimes some students nowadays ask me, ma'am, have you seen that movie? It's available on YouTube. German movie. आणि मलाच सांगतात German subtitles आहेत बरं का. म्हणलं ओके चालेल. But this changes, that is, it changes your personality thoroughly, and you really become more open and more receptive and applied. So we can create our own opportunities, definitely. And म्हणजे आपलं professional life or student life is one thing, but rather than that, we also have another personality. That personality grooming really gets definitely done through foreign language learning.
What a wonderful answer.
Right.
Yes. Uma, what changes would you like to see in this language industry?
Oh my God. Difficult question.
Yes.
Changes, like I would say that one should stop exam-oriented teaching and exam-oriented learning.
Okay.
That another thing, no compromise on quality. It could take instead of 2 months, it might take 3 months for some students. But then teachers need to have really patience, and then they can really go ahead with it. And teachers training programs should happen, book analysis, what exactly our deliverables are. You should take that responsibility yourself. It's not like, okay, this book is there, I can teach that. It's not like that. Now, every book has its own approach also. So, ते थोडंसं टीचर्सनी सिन्सिअरली करावं असं मला खूप वाटतं. आणि एस्पेशली डोंट स्टार्ट टीचिंग जस्ट आफ्टर डुईंग A2. हे सध्या आपल्याला खूप दिसतंय की आणि A2 आणि किंवा B1च झालंय. आणि बिकॉज टीचिंग aptitude you need to have. It's just not like anything I can teach or anyone can teach anything. Now, if you ask me, I can't teach mathematics, for example. So, though I have aptitude for, I can learn mathematics, but I can't teach mathematics, for example. So, that the teacher, whosoever, needs to ask, like, do I really have aptitude to teach this particular subject? And then only one should go for it. Otherwise, there is something called self-satisfaction. Then that also we need to really, that we ourselves can give ourselves. So थोडंसं बाकी असं चेंज काही नाही. The things are going so beautifully ahead आणि exposure is tremendous. Amazing. खरंच म्हणजे like as I said, so many German companies are there. With help of B1, students are getting jobs in so many companies within Pune, within India, also outside India. Internship's chances itke superb आहेत. Provided you are on the right track, right time. So तिथे क्वालिटीला कॉम्प्रोमाइज नाही. आणि we very well know German universities quality check प्रचंड आहे. To seek admissions in universities, be for bachelors or masters, or even here German companies, when they hire in the interview, because these kind of things students share with me when they go for an interview. So quality check, that's it.
Well, okay. Nice.
बाकी चेंज काही नाही ग. चेंज असं काही नाही, फक्त सेल्फ सफिशियंट.
What are your plans for the future?
So many. How many should I tell you?
All of them.
Oh, okay. Like plans for the future, that yes, I definitely wish to go for more and more associations. I wish to develop lots of material according to different age groups, because students are students. Now there are so many elderly enthusiasts as well. It's not only school children or college going students or university students. But for example, I could tell you one course we conducted, and we called that course as Super Moms.
Oh, okay.
So
nice.
Right. So there were some mothers of our students, and they wanted to know what exactly their children were doing and were learning. And so we developed a course that was just for 1 month course. And only 8 number we had restricted, only 8 students we had entertained. And there was so tremendous response for that. And we conducted which was mobile friendly course. So wherever the mothers could be sitting, they must be able to, that was only online.
Okay.
Yeah. And then exactly what the mothers wanted, we taught them. Now I will give you the bestest example. There we taught them 2-3 Indian food recipes with German names. And so so there they got the knowledge of applied German of their interest. And obviously some of the basic grammar topics you need to do, but through activity based. Like here I give you example. This some recipes we tried, and through recipes I taught them imperative.
Oh, okay.
For example, so असे थोडेसे variety of courses करायचं डोक्यात आहे. So Super Moms is on. Next 8 students batch is on. पण एका वेळेला 8 students, so it becomes easy,
manageable.
Manageable. गर्दी नाही. आणि this course necessarily is done only online. So that anywhere they can sit, and it is like their many of them are housemakers. Some of them are working. Last batch एक म्हणजे one mother एक आई तिच्या ऑफिस मधल्या लंच टाइम मध्ये तिने तो कोर्स अटेंड केला. सो सी एन्थुझियास्ट आर देअर. म्हणजे लंच टाइम मध्ये व्हेरी सिन्सिअरली that 1 whole hour every single day she had given for it. And so these kind of enthusiasts, they also wish to learn. It should not be always exam oriented. Students' aims are different, which you need to definitely guide them. Definitely, that's the. But these kind of more and more courses, I wish to also do it for very, very small kids. I am myself studying a lot onto it. How really to those techniques, because those techniques need to be very different. So I am reading a lot, I'm exploring a lot through that, so that I can come up with a good study material for them. And then accordingly, once my study material gets ready, I could catch up teachers and train them, and then they can deliver that. So this is definitely on. And then now, yes, many more associations, many more students.
Great.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, sure. Great. Thank you for joining us, Uma.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Welcome.
And
you have a great day, and best wishes for all your plans.
Thank you so much. And yes, this was really good, Lalita, I would say, because these kind of communication or these kind of gupshup never happens. No? So thank you for your initiative is really good, and
thank you so
I liked
much.
it a lot. And yeah, so
yeah,
thank you so much for inviting me, and I had really great time.
Same here. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
झनक झनक झन झंकारितः
अखिल जगति भुलवी
रसिक मनांच्या तारा गीत कहाण्या हित गुजेही
सांगे अभिनव धारा
ई प्रसारण इंटरनेट रेडिओ ई प्रसारण इंटरनेट रेडिओ